This is a video to show the difference between brilliance and scintillation. On the left hand, you see a flat facet aquamarine, which shows brilliance and changes the brilliant pattern in the center of the gem, especially as the gem is moved. That changing brilliance pattern is called scintillation. On the right, you have a starbright style cut aquamarine that as you tilt the gem, always looks very brilliant, but doesn't change appearance very much. The bright reflections you see from the surface of the gem is typical to both these types of gem cuts and are from the facets on the front of the gem. These are surface reflections and not the same as scintillation. Here on the left we have a supercillion cut, which is flat faceted and is our most scintillating cut. See how the light dances around? This is a classic example of extreme scintillation. Then, on the right, you have a starbright style, which as it is moved, does show some scintillation, but not nearly as much. The lighting on that video also isn't quite as good as the lighting on the other one. But you can see that one shows much more movement than the other. This sapphire has flat facets on the pavilion, and it shows scintillation, which is the movement of light. But as you can see, it sometimes happens that it shows dark portions in the gem, which are caused by reflecting dark objects in front of the gemstone, such as the viewer, the camera, or other objects. These patterns of light and darkness moving through the gem is what some people like, but other people prefer to have a gem that appears brighter all the time and doesn't have as many of these dark areas. This starbright cut Oregon sunstone is a good example of that. See how it doesn't have many dark sections inside the gemstone, and even though it's tilted, it still looks evenly bright no matter what the angle is? Starbright, concave, dreamscape, and other cutting styles where the primary facets on the pavilion are not flat have what I call a static brilliance. They look very bright all the time, but this bright appearance doesn't change very much as the gem is moved. This means that no matter what their position is, they are always bright, where a flat faceted cut will be at its best when it's either moving or in a specific correct position relative to the viewer and the light source. So the choice is in part whether you prefer a gem that looks brighter but doesn't have the light dancing around as much by showing scintillation, or a gem with a slightly less bright look that shows more movement and scintillation inside it. This is something that you need to decide what your preference is, and that will help determine which cutting style you choose. There are also other considerations we will be talking about further on in this page about which is the best cut for you to choose. Not only which is the most sparkly or brilliant, but also which is the best for you in many other regards. Once you understand all these, you will be much better equipped to choose which cut or cutting style will be best for your purposes. This is a video to show the difference